Well, Sabbath greetings to everyone. I hope you've had a fantastic week. It has been a very good week here in Sussex. Our little town of Sussex made national news. I'll let you look up that story, but it's very interesting. It seems that some painters of one of our water towers got a little bit creative and decided to cut off their work about halfway through painting our Sussex water tower. So that just proves that actually everyone out there, even commercial painters and painters that do that sort of thing, are very juvenile. So anyway, I suppose they got a laugh out of it. It's not the first time it's happened, I guess, but I just thought it was interesting that that made actually made national news. So anyway, our little town making national news for such a profound reason there. But anyway, it's been beautiful here in Sussex. The weather has been fantastic. I believe if it holds, we're supposed to have a beautiful, beautiful day for Pentecost on this double Sabbath weekend. So I hope you're all excited. I hope you've been excited as we've been counting down. And then, of course, this Sabbath, and by the way, as you can tell, there's sun coming through the window here. It's well before the Sabbath. I'm trying to finish up my Pentecost sermon here. I'm probably not even quite halfway through that, but I'd like to get that Pentecost sermon done, if at all possible, here this evening. But the weather is looking good, and things are going well in that regard. So it sounds like we're going to have a beautiful Pentecost there in Janesville. I look forward to seeing many of you there. I know there'll be some that, because of illness or in some cases prolonged illness, that will be missing quite a number from Pentecost service there. And I truly pray that we can all be together again with that, in that circumstance. That's why I love meeting at Janesville. I just love for everybody to be there that can possibly be there. It's so nice to have the bigger family join together there. We only do it about 3 times a year, so I look forward to seeing everybody there that can possibly make it. I know there'll be a few again that because of circumstances outside their control, they will likely not be there, but we're praying for you, and please continue to pray for one another. God can heal. He can intervene quickly, speedily. And so we do need to pray for one another, especially those that are sick and some of these folks that have had these prolonged illnesses. I feel for you. I'm praying for you. I love you. And we certainly pray for God's merciful intervention for you. I wanted to mention here quickly, I don't want to take a lot of time in this video, but there's some interesting research being done here recently with regard to social media. And I thought I would just cover a little bit of this as just something to mention here, a reminder. It's not meant to be terribly negative. I want these Sabbath greetings video. I don't want to be depressing in them or anything, but I do want to give us some food for thought for this Sabbath because social media is such a new phenomenon, relatively new phenomenon, and just literally hundreds of millions of people are involved in these social media platforms. There's an interesting article here in the Inquisitor.com, May 30th. It's dated May 30th, 2017. The title is "Depressed? Stay off Instagram or use new relieved app instead." It's by Chanel Adams. But the article goes on to say, feeling depressed lately? You may want to stay off social media. Instagram is the most damaging social media app when it comes to young people's mental health, according to new research. So again, this is relatively new research. It's a pretty good study here in terms of the number of participants in this survey via the Young Health Movement. I'll go on. It says here too that the RPSH, the Royal Society for Public Health that put on this survey, discovered that their mental health plummeted. Young people between the ages of 14 to 24, their mental health plummeted when frequenting Instagram. It resulted in depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, body image issues, and sleep problems. The Snapchat, the popular photo messaging app, was another close contender. It makes young people feel often left out or bullied by their peers. And those aren't the only social media platforms that are damaging to young people. Out of the 5 most popular forms of social media, Facebook and Twitter also harm young people's mental health. YouTube was the only platform that had a positive effect on teens' well-being, reports The Guardian. So this was a listing here of these social media platforms with a negative impact. Number 1 was Instagram, second is Snapchat, third was Facebook, and then Twitter, and 5th on the list was YouTube. This is a quote here: "Social media has been described as more addictive than cigarettes and alcohol, and is now so entrenched in the lives of young people that it's no longer possible to ignore it when talking about young people's mental health issues." That's this RSPH the chief executive, Shirley Kramer, said in a statement. It's interesting to see Instagram and Snapchat ranking as the worst for mental health and well-being. Both platforms are very image-focused, and it appears they may be driving feelings of inadequacy and anxiety in young people. And so that's just a warning here that I won't go into the rest of the article. It's not a whole lot more to it, but I think it's just very interesting that, you know, we know who's in charge of this world, and here are these platforms that are just, as the article says, that these young people are so deeply entrenched in these things. I mean, it's their daily routine. And some of us, maybe in my generation, and maybe some of your generation, we're totally unfamiliar with that, having something so deeply entrenched into our everyday lives. So we certainly, as parents, we want to be careful how we set our children up to inculcate these things into their very lives, because again, as research is showing, they can be very dangerous. They can be very dangerous, and it seems, it seems very innocuous. It seems very bland. Sometimes it doesn't seem like there should be a lot of trouble possibly on the surface. But again, as this research is pointing out, it gives these young people oftentimes a very false sense of reality. And that is what Satan is very, very busy doing, is trying to take our young people and really remove them as far away from reality as he possibly can, to try and have them just so convinced that everybody else has it so much better than they have. Everybody else has more stuff, everybody's happier, everybody's better looking, everybody has better relationships. I mean, on and on and on. And that's what we see on these social media platforms. We're not dealing in reality. That's what the research is showing. And so we need to be careful and teach our children some of these ways to see these things and point these things out to them, so that they don't become so deeply entrenched that we see it affecting their lives in a way that we're seeing it affect so many others. And of course it's happening in the Church of God. Those things that are happening in the world are, we see those things certainly affecting our young people in the church. So we want to be aware, and certainly we can look at it from a spiritual vantage point, from a spiritual perspective, and we want to be very careful. And we can't live our children's lives, and we can't shelter them from everything, but we certainly want to be very careful and teach them about the dangers of these things and give them the reality, the perspective of reality. That what they see out there in social media is very, very often, it's not a picture of reality. It is not reality at all. So just some food for thought here on this Sabbath as we approach the Sabbath here, and this double Sabbath. So really looking forward to seeing everyone at Janesville for services at 10:30 and 2:30. And of course, looking forward to having the opportunity here to hear from Mr. Dexter Wakefield, who's coming in from headquarters for Pentecost. What a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful blessing. I hope you all have a fantastic Sabbath, a fantastic double Sabbath, I look forward to seeing the brethren in the Dells for the Sabbath, and then so many more of you will be seeing on Sunday for Pentecost. I love you all. Have a fantastic double Sabbath. Take care. We'll talk to you again real soon. Love you all.